Raiders, Nick Shaheen here, looking at Bitcoin, but not so much as a Bitcoin call, but rather as a lesson on how to trade a chart. And in this case, it applies to Bitcoin perfectly because there are no real experts in this new field. So before I forget, at the end there'll be a little pop-up video, icon to subscribe to this channel on YouTube. It's free. Give it a go. I don't spam anybody. So here's the thing. I say it, I've said it, I can explain what Bitcoin is, I can explain why it has value, but when I do that, my friends and family's eyes roll back. So they don't get it. But think of it as gold or cash or anything. It has value, but only because we say so. Who's we? Anybody who likes Bitcoin. Gold has value only because billions of people love it and want to buy it and think it's pretty and it's rare and you can't get it easily. See how everything applies, I said here, to both Bitcoin and gold? It just happens to live on a thumb drive or a hard drive in the digital sphere versus in the ground. So this is the Bitcoin blurb. Back to the chart. So this is a daily chart. There's tons of information on this. So they tell me if the least I get out of it is when not to do something and stop myself from losing money. So let's see if I can share my ideas or concepts. And these are concepts that apply for any chart. Bitcoin, the yield curve inversion, anything. Chart is a chart. And now this is more true that machines trade because they are programmed. At X, I do this. At Y, I do that. If this, I do this. So it's more predictable. So, all right. So this is Bitcoin daily chart for about a year worth of action. So let's start with where it is right now. It fell from here to here. Big drop, right? From 12,000 to 9,500. Was this a time to get out? No. Why not? I can tell you emphatically that if I didn't sell all the way here, this is definitely not the place I'd sell. Why? Because this cluster right here is proven support. Okay, so these are the actual supports, but the cluster is the more, it's a range. It's like a rubber band, not a hard line in the sand. But look at this hard line in the sand, right? So also if I look left, look at this hard line in the sand. Also if I look left, cluster, yes, didn't touch it, but it came to it and failed. Then came to it and broke out. So when they say prior resistance, I can consider this zone resistance, becomes forward support, right? This is exactly what it means. So I can put an R here until they broke out, and then S here, and then S here, right? And then S with a question mark. So that's why the question mark. That's why I don't bail at the first stick that hits the support level. This is where if somebody missed it, oh my gosh, I missed it. This is my chance. They scalp along and then they put a tight stop below it based on their preference. So if they can handle 10% red or 50% red, depends on what they're doing, then they'll put a stop below that. So this definitely, the chart tells me that this definitely was not a place to leave. Was this a place to add? No, but that's probably where CNBC was all over it. So why is it not? Because it is a level where the cluster is resistive. So this was a big top, and we're coming back to the same zone. There are only a couple candles here, 4 candles. So I'd like to see what happens. Now, could I have seen this coming? I could have seen something coming. So I did draw these white things before they actually happened. So what I do is I see the range tightening from this down to a point, higher lows, lower highs coming to a point. I know something was going to happen right here-ish. So I drew the upside scenario and the downside scenario, kind of like what I did here with the blue. The blue never came to life. So I leave it because it's going to come to life later. And the upside scenario unfolded. So was this a place to start long? No. This was, because this was the failure from which this happened. And then when I got back to it, I need to see the bulls be able to get up above and start using it as support. So now we're talking smaller time frames. These 2 things I said last do not apply on this time frame. They're too hard to see. Let me see if I come in closer. All right, so these are them right here. So you can see it fell off a cliff. This is perfect. Same concept, same chart, lower time frame. Now I'm looking at 240 minutes candles. So 4-hour candles. It fell off a cliff. They tried to rebound. And by the way, eyeball, this is about halfway, right? So this is a half back test. Almost always happens. Then they failed. So R. They fell off a cliff. They rebounded. Another R. Same spot exactly. Like exactly. Not maybe, exactly. So this will be the level where I start chasing again on this rally. If I'm not in here or here, I don't start here. I want to see what happens because it's a ledge. It's a prior accident scene. I know crap happens here. It happened just 2 times ago. The last 2 times we got here, it happened. Then they broke above it. And this should have held. It didn't. So can you guess what I'm going to say here? Do I buy here if it gets up to here? No, I'd like to see it get above here and then to chase it if it goes there. Gut says maybe not. This is about half of this rally right here. I mean, rally, extension. I'm not a technician, but this is stuff I noticed on my own. I'm an engineer, self-taught. So I can apply this exact same statement, anything I said here, right here. Okay, they tried to rally, they failed. They tried to rally, they failed. They tried to rally, they failed. All on the same neckline. They tried to rally, they failed mini, and then they got to it, and then they got above it. Now I can get comfortable. Okay, so if you look at it, you know, they call it cup and handle, inverse cup, inverse head and shoulders, whatever it is. To me, you know, maybe it looks like a cup and handle. It's a neckline that being attacked over and over and over again. And then they say the extension should be the depth of the cup. They being the technicians. They're awesome people, by the way. So this would be maybe a little bit higher. I'm eyeballing it. And, you know, they're not wrong. Look at where it stalled before it did leg 2. So these concepts extend over and over on any chart. Let me see if I can do Apple maybe. Something else, something less busy. I don't know. DE. To see if there's anything obvious. Well, okay, so Deere is spiking on bad news, which is good in theory, right? But I don't chase it right here because let me get closer. 60 minute? Okay, perfect. Ha. Now we're going down to a 1-hour candle. So somebody watching Deere today because it's in the news, it's up, whatever, it's up, and people are talking about it. Do I start longs here? No, not for me. Why? I'm going to draw a line. This is here, right? Look left, and what happened? This was support, and it was, and then it failed miserably, and now it's coming back at it. This is test 1, failed. This is test 2, ongoing, question mark. So this is an accident scene. They're almost halfway, almost. They're coming back to it. They're not going to slice through it. Even on a headline like this, they couldn't slice through it. So I would wait. This is not. I would probably sell puts and put spreads well below it, rather than buy calls or buy the shares. So let me see on the daily what it looks like. I don't track the stock, so I don't know their fundamentals. Okay, so on the daily, suddenly it turned into a Deere, but it's still a lesson, not a lesson. My ideas, my levels, the concept of levels. So this is a cluster of support. This is even a better cluster of support. So 3 pokes, yes, here, terrible. 3 pokes. So I would not start shorting it here for the same reason I don't start long it here. So if you want, this is a battle zone right here going on. And if I look left, oh my gosh, I didn't even plan this, okay? So this orange line right here, that is the actual mathematical point of control from the volume profile. So based on all the action that's happened, this is the line that's most fought over between bulls and bears. I did not plan this. Okay, I couldn't make this up. I'm glad I had it on video. So this is the actual point of control. So I got to the box that's actually sliced almost exactly in half with the point of control without even looking at the volume profile. I was just talking levels. It's a well-organized market, isn't it? Okay, so this is the lesson. It's a little bit longer than I wanted, but it's actually perfect. You know where to reach me.